Shoestring TV.
When you think about your death, you hope it's planned, that it's expected, that it'll be painless and you'll go with some dignity. You hold out for the hope that you've said everything you needed to say to those you loved and exhausted every opportunity to share how much they all mean to you. When I did die, when I was murdered at the hands of some mystery man in an ugly orange tie, not only did I not arrive at the pearly gates after a life spent devoted to serving others and the law and justice, I wound up in some upgraded version of the netherworld, Hell 2.0. The reasons for my death, a mystery. Portions of my memory seemingly removed. The deadly sin I committed still unknown. The only one who may know the truth about my death is my caseworker. The onboarding specialist, Sebastian, remains missing. Wrestling with the reality that my death wasn't final, that I've been given some sort of twisted second chance. I'd taken solace in knowing that the lives of my dear wife, Louise, and my son, Harry, would go on, that they would endure. A hope crushed by tragedy, a revelation brought about as a message from the clandestine organization known only as the 11th Circle, that those I love most in this world are also gone. I now cling to a folded piece of paper still kept in my pocket, a letter that my son gave me in some dark, demonic delusion, and in turn, the promise I gave him to not open it until the time is right, even if deep down I pin some half-crazed hope on there being answers within the parchment. I've been designated by Satan himself, sworn to hunt and track demons who illegally possess human subjects, while also investigating a series of gruesome murders taking place throughout Dante. This is Sheriff Leo Brawn, captain of the Obsidian Recovery Agency and protector of the capital city of Dante.
Shoestring TV presents Leo Brawn, Episode 13, Surface Tension, Part 1.
In the highlands of Antenora, a mountainous region of hell, a black sedan approaches the base of a spiraling castle. John Tulliver, previously known by the demeaning epithet, the Pig, exits the vehicle and ushers his way to the car's rear. He opens the rear driver's side door and Satan, appearing dapper and refined, steps out.
The Spiral Castle of Antenora?
Yes, former region for those that committed treason. You think that meeting here is a coincidence?
No, sir. I do not.
The man in the orange tie emerges from the gatehouse of the castle and makes his way down the stone steps to receive Satan and his henchmen.
We were anticipating your arrival. Her Grace appreciates punctuality. She's awaiting.
Her Grace? That's rich. Let me give you some advice, Trout Pout. Let's ignore your BDD for a moment and skip to your fashion sense. For hell's sake, Chuckles, invest in an iron. You ever heard the expression, shoes make the man? Well, you must have not gotten the memo. You don't climb trees in penny loafers. And then, there is that tie. You know they make more than one, And whose corpse did you roll for it anyhow?
If you and the pig would...
John! The name is John!
Very good. If you'll both follow me.
Behind an antique wooden desk embellished with intricate motif carvings, in a vast cabinet room, sits Lilith.
Your Grace, your guest has arrived.
Thank you. Oh, your little bodyguard will have to wait outside.
Sir, it's fine, John. I'm sure you and Chuckles have some catching up to do.
The man in the orange tie and John take their leave as Satan sits across from his adversary.
Well, I'm here. What do you want to talk about? But TikTok, I have a big day planned. Okay, I'll start. Hi, Lilith. For someone that has been in self-imposed exile as long as you have, you look well. You don't look a day over 4,227. Love what you've done with the place. How are things? Still holding a grudge against Adam, or did you finally bury the hatchet?
A flaccid attempt at wounding me. I'm disappointed. All this time, and you've become so boring.
Let's talk boring, Abzul.
It's Lilith.
Of course it is. The 11th circle. Gosh, how did you come up with that one? Talk about a snooze fest.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but it wasn't really organized with you or your approval in mind.
I'm just sitting here imagining one of your minions sitting cross-eyed on the shitter. Copy of Dante's Inferno in his hands, counting the circles, and then light bulb. Oh, number 11.
You've always had an active imagination, Lucifer.
It's Satan.
Of course it is.
So, this is why you asked me here today. A pissing contest. Just so you know, I already win. I can do it standing up. And if that's all you've got, then you'll have to excuse me. I have a campaign to prepare for.
Now, what made you think I asked you here? To speak with me?
Beyond where Lilith sits, behind closed balcony doors, Satan hears a deep, rumbling murmur outside. Lilith slinks over to the balcony doors and opens them. A cacophony of raucous voices erupts from below.
You need to hear from them.
Satan walks out onto the balcony next to Lilith and witnesses as the legions of hellborn demons and sinners amass in a valley below.
You can dismiss its name, but the 11th Circle stands before you. Very real. A movement that is alive. A confluence of hellborn and sinners alike. All standing in solidarity. By the tens of thousands, rising against this ruse, what you call the transformation. All answering to me.
The Empress raises a hand, and the horde falls silent.
Members of the 11th Circle, mark this day, when the one and only Lucifer, the traitor and apostate responsible for betraying the natural order, stands speechless before you. The power of this movement has rendered him silent. Now, watch this. Come now, my brethren. As we continue to deafen him with our silence. Henceforth, there will be no more human possessions, whether invited or not. Cease any further possession activity. Release those currently under your spell. We will adhere to the stipulations of the mandate for now. One cannot attack an enemy they cannot hear, that they cannot see. Fear not the beast's bellow. It's the hush before the strike where danger lies. Rest assured, your time will come. The 11th Circle will have its day. The 11th Circle shall reign. And they will hear us roar.
The horde breaks into a deafening cheer. Outside of the cabinet room, John Tulliver stands in the great hall of the spiral castle across from the man in the orange tie, who is standing guard. The uproar of the 11th Circle can be heard in the distance.
Ah, the 11th Circle. We have such grand plans.
You know what they say? The devil smiles when we have plans.
Oh, I have a feeling he's not smiling this time. I must say, I'm pleased for you, John.
Pleased?
You carried out your part, just as I had hoped, and you regained some much-deserved dignity in the process.
Carried out my part? The implication being what? I played a role in these grand plans? I handed over a piece of paper with an address on it. Simple as that. I didn't play a part.
John, we're leaving.
I'll escort you. I hope what you've witnessed today...
Satan snaps his fingers, suddenly silenced by a powerful force that has rendered him unable to speak. The man in the orange tie stumbles backwards and collapses against the wall. He pulls at his paralyzed mouth, mumbling in panic.
We'll see ourselves out.
As they depart, Satan leans in close to John.
Hey, do me a solid. Don't tell Margot I did that.
It's my first day at the ORA as sheriff, and the first day without Captain Mangat. I can't help but feel a bit of imposter syndrome creeping in. I've been a homicide detective for most of my adult life, but I never got to run the big show. Now my death has afforded me something I could never get in life. A promotion. Now, even though Cap may not be sitting in the office, which I now occupy, her spirit is here. And she left me something that made me smile. A letter in the top drawer, and it reads,
For Leo. So, you're sitting in the big seat now. You should know, being captain of the ORA, or sheriff in your case, comes with a few perks. First off, the black phone on the left corner of the desk, all calls are routed to one place only. This is your direct line to dispatch. You need something? Just dial #9. And if it's information they possess, consider it yours. You can also leverage dispatch to put you in touch with the captain of the ORA City of Dees branch, Daryl Bammer. Gruff son of a bitch, but hell, it's the City of Dees, so you kinda have to be. Also to your left, bottom drawer, you'll find a rare bottle of Melloc Bull, Dante's finest bourbon, aged 16 years. Don't ask me how I was able to procure it, but from time to time we've had to proliferate ne'er-do-wells of their contraband. It's never been opened. I was saving it for a special occasion, but now I want you to have it. The framed picture on the adjacent wall facing you, the one with the ORA insignia, behind it is a keypad that allows access to the vault, accessible only to you. It contains past reports and archives related to all demon hunts, as well as profiles on the residents of Dante. You'll also find surveillance footage, previous agent audio recordings, basically anything you would want should you ever have to revisit old cases. I had already requested new passcodes before my leave. Ronan will have the details. Lastly, I made the effort to calculate annually the number of demon possessions under my watch. We had 47 successful demon hunts in the past year before the end of my tenure. If you can beat that, then I'll tell you what my initials, FJ, stand for. Good luck. Give 'em hell.
Yes, break a leg.
Leo. Or should I say, Sheriff Brawn?
Max, or should I say, Sergeant. What the hell is your last name? Wait, don't answer that. I have your death detail reports right here. Have a seat.
Sure, but no judgment, okay?
Maximilian Xerxes Walsh. Xerxes?
Oh, and Leo Brawn is better?
Max it is. Okay, now we come to it. The deadly sin you committed was...
I feel like I'm in the principal's office.
envy. You sought to take over as lead investigator on the Whitechapel murders and were ultimately denied. That is what had you chained to the pond for all eternity?
Not anymore, thanks to you. There is more to it than just wanting it, but that is a much longer story.
The punishment doesn't seem to fit the crime, is my point. Did you ever get any explanation?
No. I don't think he felt the need to explain. And there wasn't a discussion beforehand, it just was. Don't let my current state of zen fool you. I know there was a time I cursed him, the one responsible for my eternal torture, especially from my limited vantage point. The world around me was changing, and yet I remained chained, subjected to endless torture. But now, I'm standing on my own 2 feet again, breathing in fresh air. Putting on clothes and shoes is literally a joyous occasion. I visited a bakery this morning. I won't look back, Leo. This is a second chance that I won't squander. Leo, may I put a question to you?
Yeah, shoot.
Is that a letter from your son?
Oh, this? No, it's a pep talk from Captain Mangat. My son's letter is still in my pocket, folded up. I haven't read it as promised.
Just waiting. For the sign.
Yeah, whatever that may be.
Willie, Laurie, and June enter the Devil's Den.
Come with me, Sergeant. I want you to meet the agents of the ORA.
Leo and Max join the Demon Hunters in the Devil's Den.
Agents, I want you to meet Sergeant Maximilian Walsh, my second in command. Max, this is Willie Topaz, Laurie Stryker, and June Chesterfield.
Nice to meet you all.
Same here, Max. Welcome to the ORA. And what? Dante's Sheriff's Department? The DSD?
Still working on that.
Boys and their acronyms. Welcome aboard, Max. Leo has had nothing but nice things to say about you.
Miss Stryker. Charmed, to say the least.
Bit of a smoothie, aren't you?
June approaches Maximilian and examines his hands.
Miss Chesterfield, is it? May I ask what you're doing?
All that time in the water, and not a bit pruny.
Ha! I must admit, I was worried about that myself. Would I just be a giant walking raisin?
You're all right, kid. We'll have to get a drink sometime. Want to hear all about your time at Scotland Yard?
As long as you're buying, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Sheriff Brawn.
Max, this is Ronan Delaney, sole member of our R&D department, new branch of our dispatch unit.
Pleasure to meet you, Ronan.
Okay. Sheriff, are you ready for your tour? It's for your eyes only, of course.
Actually, I think Captain Mangut already gave me the lowdown.
Oh, I see. Wait, for fuck's sake. Oh, why have Ronan explain it? He only fixes every fucking thing. Just because I was born south of the Adrian's Wall doesn't mean I'm half as bright as a Scotsman with his he's bashed in. Did you listen to Ronan?
Ronan.
He's just a bloody lump.
Ronan! I still need the access codes for the vault. I'm told you're responsible for that.
Oh, aye, yes, aye, that's right. Aye, access codes are being regenerated. It should, I should have them by, I should have them programmed by this afternoon.
Perfect. Well, that'll be all, Ronan. Thank you.
You say thank you, but you mean fuck off. Berry's puppy around here.
Okay, so, that is the team. Actually, Max, I'd like you to meet Gorm. Anyone know if he's around?
Nah, haven't seen him.
He doesn't really stay put for very long, but I hear he took the captain's injury extra hard. Hasn't reported for duty since.
Okay, well, I'll have to talk with them. First things first, let's all head to the brief.
Excuse me, Sheriff Brawn.
Yes. Oh, Miss Muldoon.
Yes, Sheriff. May I have a word?
Sure. Sergeant Walsh, can you set up the briefing room? We'll review any possession recoveries and break open the murder investigation. I want to get up to speed victim by victim and come up with a game plan.
Of course. The briefing room is...
Follow me, Max. I'll escort you.
Thank you, Laurie. Miss Muldoon, how can I help you?
Well, we're about 6 hours away from the Transformation Phase 2 rally, so I wanted to go over the agenda very briefly.
Briefly? I'll hold you to that.
Of course. We'll kick things off with Dante's own Billy Bochief, with a commencement speech. You know, something to inspire and motivate the people of Dante. Then, he'll introduce me, I'll explain my role, and build up further anticipation before introducing the man of the hour, Mr. Nice Guy himself, Satan. He'll lay out his agenda for Phase 2, and then that is where you will come in.
Okay, sounds fine to me.
Excellent. Now, your speech has already been prepared. You'll just have to read it from the teleprompter. How are you with public speaking?
Wait, hold on. A speech in front of an audience?
Well, yes. Dante's very first sheriff. The people will want to hear from you and how you plan to keep us all safe.
Well... shit.
Ms. Jillian, long time no see. What brings you to the High Water Saloon at this time of day? Can I interest you in a drink?
I think I'm gonna need one, Felix. Just as long as it's not...
a topaz surprise. Don't worry. That has been moved to our secret menu, reserved entirely for Mr. Topaz himself.
Good call, Felix. Is this normal to be so busy during the day?
No, not like this. All thanks to the rally outside.
Rally? What the hell is that all about?
Some special announcement from the big man. A new phase or something like that.
More of the transformation? He's running unopposed, I assume.
I'd say that's a safe bet. Now, if memory serves, vodka gimlet is your drink of choice?
I'm impressed, Felix.
Well, let's just say you make quite the impression. So, you have your drink. First part of my job description is complete. The next is lending an ear. What's got you down?
You're not gonna just let me drown in my sorrows?
I literally wouldn't be doing my job if I did.
Fair enough. I left my assignment today.
What did you do anyway?
Mechanic at Sabnock Auto Body Shop.
Where did you request to be reassigned?
I didn't. I know. We're all supposed to be assigned somewhere. Like, working a job mirrors some semblance of life back home. But I don't believe in this place. It's like we're all pretending, as if we're being given some sort of second chance, when the very reason for this place, hell's existence, is damnation. And if what we're witnessing is truly some attempt to alter that, then my gut is telling me it's being done in secret, and I feel like a higher power may have something to say about it.
And yet, you're here. And guess what? you're not alone.
I guess that's it. When it comes down to it, I feel alone. I grew close to someone here. He is about the only person I trust, but he's missing. I died at the hands of someone who betrayed me, and now I feel this person I care about is part of a new conspiracy and betrayal. Now I have it on good authority that if he ever does resurface, there is a price on his head. Part of me hopes he stays in hiding, if he's even alive.
Price on his head? Conspiracy? Maybe I've bought into this transformation too much.
Felix kneels behind the bar and pulls out a bottle of whiskey. Takes a second to admire the heavy glass bottle with no label. Grabs 2 shot glasses and pours out healthy measures.
Unlike some folks around here, I was a bartender before and after my death. It's all I've ever wanted to do. Other than playing with my band, it's the only thing that makes sense to me. Doing it as long as I have, you get a sense for people. Those that will lose themselves at the bottom of a bottle, and those who can rise above it. That darkness visits us all at some point. You don't seem like the type to give in or give up. Everything you're facing right now, all these doubts and questions, it really comes down to one question. Really, what are you gonna do about it?
Felix raises a shot glass and gestures for Julian to take the other.
Here's to those who wish us well. All the rest can go to hell.
Wow, what is that?
That's the good stuff. My own private stash. Miss Jillian, you can't change where you are, but you can change where you're going. If you're here, there is a reason. And if there is a reason, there is a purpose. Go find your purpose.
Julian looks at the tattoo on her arm. The mark, as it was called.
Recently, I was told I may be part of something, an ancient order. I thought it was a mistake, some misunderstanding, but there is a part of me that feels like it makes sense. Thanks for talking to me, Felix.
Going so soon? Need another drink?
No, but thank you. Going to find my purpose, and I think I know where to start.
Miles away from Dante, in an up-and-coming suburban community still under development called the Chariots of Shoal, Captain F.J. Mangut sits in a recliner in the living room of her condominium. The former captain runs her hand over the bandage that conceals the wound from her recently amputated leg. She turns on her television as Chip Steed from the Dante Daily walks near a stage that has been constructed in Dante's town square.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chip Steed with the Dante Daily. I'm standing in the recently constructed town square where a stage is also being erected, intended to be the setting for the first announcement to usher in the second phase of what most describe as the transformation. The people of Dante await the announcement with bated breath. Helping pave the way for the events this evening is Satan's newly appointed campaign manager, Margot Muldoon. Miss Muldoon, thank you for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, Chip. Appreciate the opportunity.
Now, you're being entrusted to help bring the city of Dante into a new era. Is there anything you can share with us before tonight?
Well, I won't go into specifics. That would ruin all of the surprises in store. But what I can say is that Satan feels a real obligation to the people of Dante and their quality of life. Now that we're moving into phase 2 of the transformation, incidentally, what we're calling, and here is a scoop, Chip, the New Dawn. Not only will the lives of the people of Dante change immeasurably for the better, they will discover a renewed sense of peace of mind.
And with this new dawn imminent, can you speak to some of the harsher realities facing the people of Dante? namely the brutal murders that have plagued the city for the better part of a month. The number of victims increasing now to 6. The most recent body found floating in the River Styx, eviscerated and earless. All at the hands of who the residents have dubbed the Dante Devil.
The unfortunate nickname aside, these heinous murders and stopping them once and for all are at the forefront of Satan's new vision. The safety of the people of Dante remains his highest priority, and he has several measures he will outline tonight. I can assure you, we have never been safer.
Before the news report can continue, the power goes out in Captain Mangott's condo. Following the outage, she hears faint footsteps upstairs. She grabs a pair of crutches leaning against a lamp table near the recliner and pulls herself up. She makes her way to the foot of the stairs just as the commotion above falls silent.
Hello? Who's there?
Back at the ORA, Leo stands at the podium in the briefing room. He inserts a weevil into his ear and taps it.
Ronan, we all set?
Aye, Sheriff. Yes, yes, Sheriff. You should see the display now.
A feed from Leo's computer in his office displays images to a portable projector screen set up in the briefing room.
Wow, high tech.
All right, look, we had a lot to cover, and I didn't want to be writing on a chalkboard the whole time. Now, I'm supposed to make an appearance and manage security for the campaign rally later this evening. So for our Demon Hunter audience, I hope you'll bear with us. They're calling him the Dante Devil. And the latest report is that he's killed 6 people that we know of. Most recent body was found in the River Styx just this morning. I don't think I'm gonna go out on a limb here by saying that this is not a whodunit. It's a matter of when he'll strike again and who he'll be targeting. There's one man who has mystified all of us. How he was allowed to walk freely all this time. The formerly convicted serial killer Herman Edward Coxlin. If money still existed, I'd bet all of it on him. So, what do we know, Ronan?
Ronan displays a report on the projector screen that provides an overview of the details of the case.
Look, the victims are almost entirely female, except for the couple murdered and left behind the Hades Hot Wings restaurant. All victims have their internal organs removed and their left ears sectioned off. We now know that the bodies are taken and moved to a second location, far from the initial murder site. Max?
That's right. I witnessed firsthand as a man in a hood choked the first of the female victims. Apparently she was a member of the 11th Circle. Then while still strangling her, he brandished a long, large dagger. I didn't witness the act itself, but when I emerged from the pond, both the victim and the killer were gone. It was only later when the victim's body was found once it had been moved to the Stygian marsh.
This means Coxlin is either incapacitating the victim or performing the initial kill, then taking the victim someplace else for the ritualistic removal of body parts. Then, once on the move again, dropping the body off in another part of the city, all while going completely unnoticed. Willie, no need to raise your hand. What do you have?
There's more to this case than I think you realize. We all experience it. Flashbacks, your life before you died, and even memories of your death. Happens to all of us at different moments. Recently, while investigating a connection between the death of an inmate and the organization known as the 11th Circle, I had such a flashback. I was hovering over the crime scene, my hotel room at the Bellevue in Philly. I could see my body, my throat slit. I could see my manager, Maurice Stillman, sobbing at the doorway. And I saw you too, Leo.
Me? When was this?
86.
I didn't make detective until later.
No, you weren't lead investigator. You were a uniformed officer then. It was investigated by someone named Wallace.
Norman Wallace.
That's it. You remember him?
Detective Norman Laddie Wallace. Of course I do. He was my mentor and friend. Everything I learned about being a detective was because of him. He taught me everything I know. but I have no recollection of this, no memory of it at all.
Then you won't remember that the killer responsible for my death was Barbara Earlene Coxlin, Herman's older sister.
Holy shit!
Now that name does ring a bell.
Sounds like she taught Herman everything she knows.
Max, any correlation between the murder victims being female and the fact that his older sister was a serial killer that probably trained him?
It's possible. If they had a falling out, or if there was some reason to hate her or fear her.
Let's start with that. Max, I'd like you to draw up a full psychological profile on Herman.
Gladly, although I may be a little out of touch. Most of what I know is 1880 psychology. I need some time to brush up.
Dispatch can give you everything you'll need. Next, the murder weapon. The way I understand it, the victims have all been sinners, which means, like all of us, a physical representation of our souls, which is supposed to mean under normal circumstances we can't die. Again. But the victims seem to have fallen prey to a permanent second death. Now, before I took over, Cap had mentioned the only way for a death to be permanent was by using a weapon of ancient significance and power. But it was all believed these weapons were lost, or at the very least, extremely hard to come by.
How would this psycho get his hands on something like that?
He must be getting help. He's connected somehow.
Connected to who? Or to what?
Max, you said you believed the first victim was a member of the 11th Circle.
That's right. She was vandalizing a bench, spray painting it with the 11th Circle insignia, when Herman attacked her.
And when I investigated the car of someone impersonating an ORA security guard, I found that receipt for the Cedar Hill Cemetery, which led me to finding Leo's grave marker, as well as...
Right.
The point being, Leo, Herman Coxlin, the serial killer running loose in Dante, just happens to be the younger brother to a serial killer that your mentor investigated. Herman's first victim was a member of the 11th Circle, a group that I believe wanted the Cedar Hill Cemetery to be found, to lead to you, Leo, or someone close to you back there, and discover the terrible truth.
Hey, Bubba, I'm no detective, but there does seem to be a connection.
If there is a connection, then it's possible that the 11th Circle provided Herman with this ancient weaponry. Thank you, Willie. Max, connect with dispatch and get all the information you can on Barbara Earlene Coxlin as well. Needed to know how her trail of murder ended. Maybe Herman is holding some sort of grudge, and if I'm involved, however disconcerting that may be, he's holding a grudge against me. Either way, I'm gonna need a refresher on the case.
It will be done.
Okay, Ronan, move to the next slide, please. Ronan?
Oh, Sheriff!
Yeah, what is it, Ronan?
You need to come see this.
The group gathers in the Devil's Den. Ronan mans a workstation and logs into a computer and pulls up a status report provided by dispatch.
Oh, Sheriff, I can't explain it, but... Dispatch, they monitor the signals of the demonic possessions at their earliest possible point, way before they reach a discernible possession level. That allows us to prioritize the cases that will be assigned to the field. And
Ronan, skip to the end.
Wait, look, Sheriff. About 15 minutes ago, all the signals just disappeared. It's as if all demonic possessions just stopped.
Did you check with dispatch? Technical malfunction of some kind?
Aye, Sheriff, everything's in order. I've checked and I've double-checked.
Are you saying that there aren't any possessions taking place at all?
I'm not just saying that's what happened. It is what happened.
Give me a second.
Leo steps away to his office.
June, the ORA has been around for how long?
Over 2 years now.
Ever seen anything like this? 0 possessions?
Never.
What does this mean?
It can't be. This has to be a glitch or something. Demonic possession has been around since time immemorial.
It's not a glitch.
Maybe we shouldn't be complaining. This is our end goal, after all.
All right, I just spoke to the captain of the City of Dis branch.
What's the update?
Gab was right. He's an asshole. But he's also confirmed no demonic possessions. They all just stopped. 1 second the signals were there, and then poof, nothing.
Why does this scare me more than when there were signals?
I know. It sounds like it should be a good problem to have, but nothing about this feels right.
Well, in light of our current predicament, Sheriff, looks like you have a few out-of-work demon hunters that could lend a hand on this murder thing.
Yeah, count me in.
Hey, I had been investigating the 11th Circle already, so count me in too.
Count me in too.
Jillian?
Oh, hell yeah.
What do you say, Sheriff?
I say, I hope you aren't too big on ceremony. Consider yourselves deputized.
Woo-hoo! All right, yeah, all right.
Okay,
yeah.
Max, find out everything you can on Herman and his sister. Based on that, write up a psychological profile. As unfortunate as it may be, we need to get inside this guy's head. June, if Herman has a weapon that can cause a second death, we need to understand what that instrument may be and who gave it to him. Willie, Laurie, find out whatever you can on this 11th Circle, what they have planned and who's running the show.
And Sheriff Brawn, what about me?
You're with me. Security detail for the campaign rally tonight.
From CIA officer to security guard, I'm moving up.
Well, from mechanic to sheriff's deputy. This is definitely an upgrade. Okay, everyone has their assignments. Ronan, anything changes, any signals pop up, you let me know.
Aye, Sheriff.
Okay, people, let's move like we got a purpose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, at the Chariots of Shoal condominiums, Captain Mangut eases her way carefully through her kitchen. She pulls a 12 gauge from the pantry and limps slowly back to the stairway.
Whoever you are, you're not welcome here. Come down slowly and show yourself, otherwise I'm going to start putting holes in the ceiling.
A figure rises behind the captain. Captain Mangut lands clumsily against the stairway steps, losing her grasp on the 12 gauge in the process. Herman Edward Coxlin stands over her and kicks the 12 gauge out of reach.
Gotta check those corners, Captain.
Who the hell are you?
Oh, you haven't heard. I'm who they're calling the Dante Devil.
It's you. You're the one killing those poor people. You're also trying too hard with this whole crazy laughing maniac routine. If that's the mask you wear, I can see right through it.
You seem much for someone so old. Satan entrusted the ORA to a geriatric, and you've gone lame.
You're not up on current events. I'm not the captain of the ORA anymore.
That's what you do with a lame horse. Put them out of their misery. Love to know who took your place.
That news will become public soon enough. Wouldn't want to spoil the surprise.
Then maybe you can tell me how you lost that leg. I have a feeling that's a story worth sharing.
Another lame horse, put out of its misery.
I get it now. You're a tough nut to crack. I can see why you were chosen to lead the demon hunters.
Let's not pretend you know fuck all about me, or that you're here for small talk. I know what you are, so go ahead and do your worst.
Oh, I always enjoy martyrdom. I appreciate the offer, I do. But I'll require fresh prey. And you Well, you're not that.
I guess you're just waiting for me to ask, so I'll get to it. Then why are you here?
I'm a big movie fan, watching the story unfold from scene to scene. You're skipping to Act 3, but sure, you're probably due for your nap time, so I'll oblige. I need access codes for the slab.
Access to the slab? That's why you're here?
Let's just say I'm feeling homesick. The codes. Give them to me.
I remember you now. You apparently got lost during a tour. Found you in the slab.
So your memory is still sharp as a tack, Should be no problem remembering the codes then.
Okay. Mind if we make it interesting? I'm going to tell you a joke. See if you can figure out the punchline. If you can, then you'll have your codes.
I like jokes when they're funny.
Oh, this one is hilarious. You like knock-knock jokes?
My favorite type.
Perfect. Ready?
Ready.
Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Gorm.
Gorm who?
Me. Gorm. Knock. Knock.
Herman is thrown across the living room and crashes against the cabinet. Gorm advances towards him as Herman kicks the former wrestler in the shin. Gorm falls to one knee and observes as the serial killer produces a dagger with a long, thick blade. Gorm launches a fist at Herman's wrist, disarming the killer.
Liten Rota.
Gorm! The shotgun!
Gorm notices the 12-gauge lying on the floor and kicks it over to the captain. Herman uses this temporary distraction to his advantage and leaps on Gorm's back, putting him in a chokehold.
Time for a nap, big fella.
Captain Mangut leans over and grips the 12-gauge. He aims in the direction of the two men.
Gorm! Can't get a shot!
Gorm's vision turns foggy as he becomes lightheaded. But with what strength he has left, he leaps upwards, slamming into the ceiling. Herman's head crashes through the threshold as both serial killer and demon tracker collapse to the floor. Gorm grabs Herman's wrist and ankle and spins him towards the living room window, and then releases his grip. Herman is sent flying. Captain Mangut takes aim and fires. Blood sprays across the walls so the buckshot penetrates Herman's leg.
Captain.
I'm fine, Gorm.
Gorm nods and then rushes to the shattered living room window and peeks over the windowsill. To his dismay, Herman the serial killer is nowhere to be seen.
The devil is gone.
Looks like he forgot something.
Demon blade.
In the realm of Netherhell, formed in a naturally occurring fracture in Hell's surface, what those who know of its existence call the cleft. Faint light flickers within the deep crevice below. At ground level, the activity underneath can't be discerned, but below the surface, the 11th Circle has been busy. The cleft hides from view the 11th Circle's newly constructed headquarters, where an experiment is underway. The man in the orange tie stands at the helm of a computer mainframe situated at the midpoint of a modernistic operations center in the cleft headquarters. The computer mainframe is bedecked with a variety of knobs, dials, buttons, and green glowing computer monitors. He secures a thin headset with microphone to his abnormally shaped head and activates it.
Is the subject ready?
Yes, sir. The HCC is fully integrated and the neural junction is linked.
Excellent. Prep the volunteer.
Yes, sir. Preparations are underway. The subject's path has been loaded into the mortuary, and the trajectory has been plotted. The volunteer will be at the gateway in 5 minutes.
Very good.
Well, I must admit, this all looks official.
Your Grace.
Ah, able to speak again, I see.
Yes, my lips are still a little numb, but functioning.
How wonderful. I'm pleased to hear it.
And I'm equally pleased that you were able to make it.
I wouldn't miss it. Although, we're about 2 hours away from the New Dawn campaign rally, so I expect this little mission of yours to stay on schedule.
Oh, we are on track. In fact, the volunteer should be arriving at the gateway at any moment. I must admit, I'm surprised you plan on attending Lucifer's farce.
I won't be there in person. My many eyes and ears, my loyal shadows will be, however. I do plan to give them my undivided attention.
Yes, of course. And, what of Leviathan?
It can remain imprisoned at the bottom of the Mela Bulge. Lucifer, as nauseating as he is, kept his word. Therefore, I will keep mine. Dante will stay standing. For now.
I shall notify members of the Circle to stand down.
Yes, you do that. Now, suppose you are successful with this demonstration. What is your expectation that will support the predicted outcome?
Yes. Excellent question, Your Grace. The original HCC was intended to immediately sever the connection between Hellborn and the possessed, triggered by an auditory severance code, rendering the possessor, the demon, temporarily comatose as to ensure no additional attempts at possession would be successful. Of course, in this scenario, the chip was surgically implanted in the Hellborn demon, as per the requirements of the mandate. Now, we're implanting them directly in the intended subject.
And our test subject, who is she?
The subject is Agnes Stab, 89 years of age, retired elementary school teacher, located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She lives with her husband of 63 years, Lawrence Stab. Agnes had a mole she feared to be cancerous. During a scheduled biopsy, one of our operatives had assumed the identity of a surgeon. Similar to the ORA's slab, our mortuary can support reincarnation travel, allowing our operatives to temporarily carry out missions on the 11th Circle's behalf. How the mortuary differs is that it also provides safe haven for demonic possession.
During this procedure, the biopsy, the HCC was implanted?
Yes, precisely.
And now, with the HCC in place.
To simplify, we've reversed the polarity, if you will. Instead of the chip acting as a dam, cutting off the flood that lies in wait, conversely, the chip now acts as an open port. The expected outcome is that the possession will occur without incident, allowing the demon to freely enter Miss Stab and assume control, unfettered. We've also removed the auditory severance mechanism and retrofitted each chip with a countermeasure. It emits a variety of phantom signals that mimic two-way radio, cell phones, etc., preventing the ability to accurately pinpoint the astrophysical signal present during demonic possession.
Sir, the volunteer is at the gateway.
Affirmative. Your Grace, the demonstration is ready to begin. Shall we proceed?
Begin.
Open the gate. I'm switching to intercom. Members of the...
I think it would bolster the troops if I step in at this point. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, Your Grace. Of course.
Behold, our loyal disciple Agarat, one of the second spirits, but first in forging a path for the 11th circle. We regard you in the highest esteem, and with the utmost respect and honor. May the wings of the Shadow Seraphim guide you safely.
Well done, Your Grace. Open drawer number 3.
Lilith, the man in the orange tie, and members of the crew observe through thick glass as Agarat approaches the enclosed mortuary. Drawer number 3 opens automatically, and Agarat climbs in.
Close drawer number 3. Bring up the security video feed.
Large horizontal collapsible panels located above the observation deck of the mortuary disengage and rise like a curtain, slowly revealing a large display screen. A live video feed is projected on the screen where the subject, Agnes Stab, is in a modest kitchen cooking a meal. Her husband Lawrence sits at the dinner table petting a cat.
This security feed, what's it from?
A portable surveillance system, wide field of view, motion capture, and night vision capable, equipped with omnidirectional amplification.
Portable. This is not one of those creepy stuffed bears you created.
I will admit to my own perverse amusement that these toy dolls share some similarities to my likeness, but they have proven highly effective due to the sheer mundanity the teddy bears possess.
Carry on.
Open the portal. We're ready for launch.
Affirmative. Portal is open.
Where a go? Launch! Launch! Launch!
We are ready to launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Possession in progress.
Open the audio feed. Your Grace, you can turn your attention to the screen now. There is no going back.
The subject, Agnes Stab, stirs a stew over a hot stove.
Agnes, is the stew almost done? I know it's a family recipe, but did you have to speak to each member to get the ingredients? Eating too late is not good for my gout.
Neural junction is secured. Possession complete.
Lawrence?
You want some stew? Open your mouth. Here it comes.
Agnes lifts the pot off the stove and pours the steaming hot stew on her husband. Lawrence collapses to the floor, screaming in agony. Agnes, now completely controlled by the demon Agarat, identifies the surveillance camera and approaches closer.
That was courtesy of the 11th circle.
Excellent work.
Thank you, my Grace. I would say the first phase has been a success.
Please keep me abreast of any further updates. I'll return to my chambers.
Of course, Your Grace.
Lilith takes her leave.
Okay, everyone. Let's bring him back.
A red light blinks next to a phone mounted to the mainframe. The man in the orange tie picks up and answers.
Yes?
Are you seeing this?
The man in the orange tie returns his gaze to the surveillance video. Agnes Stab appears to be having a seizure and foaming at the mouth.
Can you get him back? Initiate the extraction.
Extraction initiated.
Agnes erupts in an otherworldly scream and then vomits a black, viscous fluid from her mouth before collapsing to the ground. The kitchen appears to shake and becomes unsteady. The surveillance camera is jostled from its perch and lands on the dining room floor as both Agnes and Lawrence Stab lay on top of one another.
Stop the recording.
Shut down the feed?
No, I need to see this, but stop recording the footage.
Look!
Agnes lays incapacitated on the floor on top of her husband. Their pet cat approaches, investigating. Her mouth opens as two black, slimy objects the size of walnuts slither out of her mouth and plop on the tile floor. The cat hisses and scurries away.
What is that?
I have no idea.
The man in the orange tie watches on the large screen as the black, slimy slugs slither through the kitchen until they are out of frame. Inside the mortuary, the slab drawer opens automatically. Smoke billows out of the opening, but the demon doesn't exit.
Send in the hazmat team.
Responders are at the gateway.
Open the gate.
Two members of the 11th Circle wearing vintage hazmat suits with respirators enter the mortuary and approach the open drawer. Before reaching the drawer, a black, slimy fluid pours out of it, spilling out into the floor in a dark, glistening puddle.
Sir, there doesn't appear to be anything left of the volunteer. Preparing for sterilization.
The flattened black puddle spurts upwards, forming into a solid.
Are those arms?
And legs. Lock the gate.
The substance mutates again. Liquid hands form and then solidify, finishing with long, slender fingers and lengthy talons. What was once a viscous fluid has transformed into a hulking humanoid dark creature. The organism lunges at the two men in hazmat suits and tears them apart.
Initiate Protocol 15!
The ceiling in the mortuary opens. The substance swings its head upwards as it is pummeled with a deluge of chemical liquids. It shrieks and growls until a chemical reaction freezes the substance solid.
It's, frozen.
Our best chance to destroy it.
No. No! Evacuate everyone!
Sir?
You too! Get everyone out of here!
What are you going to do?
We've just created a new species. I'm going to say hello.
To be continued.
The characters and events depicted in this podcast are fictional. Any similarity to any actual persons, living or dead, or to actual events, firms, places, and institutions, or other entities is coincidental and unintentional. This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Its unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability and criminal prosecution. Country of first publication, the United States of America. Leo Brawn, copyright 2024, Shoestring TV. Leo Brawn and all related characters are trademark and copyright of Shoestring TV. All rights reserved.